Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel. I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And some people I think have inspired me, hope they can inspire you as well. And we'll have links below this video to their sites. They are Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Elona Navav, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rav Daniel Asore, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Asher, and Rabbi Ron Uvain. As well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link below to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for the soul means, what it stands for, and what I'm doing. So this is actually from a weekly Parasha Insights from Rabbi Eli Mansour from a previous Parasha, not too long ago, Parasha Tzav. But I thought it was still good to share the information. It doesn't always have to be shared exactly when the Parasha comes out, but the message is appropriate. It's about self-sacrifice. So I call this true sacrifice of the soul. So in Parasha Tzav, it continues the Torah's discussion, which began in the Parasha before, which is Parasha Vayikra, which outlined the basic laws that apply to the various types of sacrifices. One of the voluntary sacrifices which one could choose to offer was the mincha, which is an offering of grain. Whereas other sacrifices were animals or birds, the mincha consists of just some flour with oil. Our sages explain that this offering would be brought by the poor who could not afford an animal sacrifice. The Chatam Sofer cites his teacher, the Hafla'ah, which is Rab Pinchas Horowitz, I never heard of him, Frankfurt, as raising the question of why the rabbis assumed that the poor would choose to offer specifically a mincha sacrifice. After all, there was another option for sacrifice which seemed to have been cheaper, which was a bird. A small bird, the Hafla'az said, would cost less than flour, so why then did the poor bring a mincha rather than a bird offering? So the Chatam Sofer answered this question by suggesting that the rabbis referred to somebody who was so poor that he could not afford to purchase anything. His only access to food was the collection of leket, shechacha, and peah, which are the various portions of fields which landowners were required to leave for the poor. The Torah commands that those who have agricultural fields must leave a corner of the field during the harvest for the poor, and must also leave behind the stalks that fell or were forgotten during the harvest. This allowed a way for the needy who could not even afford to buy food to sustain themselves and their families. So the mincha offering, the Chatam Sofer explained, would be brought by this kind of pauper. Somebody who did not even have enough money for food. Hard to imagine, right? And relied on the portions of agricultural lands left behind for the needy. Excuse me. The only sacrifice he could bring was from grain, because his only access to food was from the stalks left behind during the harvest. For this reason, the Chatam Sofer added, our sages speak of the poor person who offers a mincha sacrifice as offering his, quote, soul to Hashem. This person cannot even afford food for himself and his family, and yet he takes a portion of the gain he receives from charity as a gift to Hashem. This is true sacrifice. So what Hashem wants from us primarily is Mesirut Nefesh, which is self-sacrifice, that we sacrifice our own convenience and comfort to serve Him. This is a difficult concept for many of us in today's day and age when we live generally comfortable lives. We are accustomed to comfort and convenience and are not used to making difficult sacrifices. But true devotion to Hashem is expressed through sacrifice by doing things that are difficult and foregoing on things that we like and desire. The Arizal taught that towards the beginning of the Amidah prayer, when one recites the words Le'ma'an Shemo Ba'ahava, one should commit himself to sacrifice to Hashem. He should think at that moment that he pledges to make some sacrifice for the sake of Hashem that day. The explanation is simple. In the Amidah prayer, we ask Hashem for many important things that we need and wish for: wisdom, health, livelihood, and so on. Etiquette dictates that if we are asking Him for many things, we should commit ourselves to do something for Him as well. And what He wants from us, first and foremost, is Mesirut Nefesh, that we make sacrifices for His sake. We must not limit our religious observance to those things which are easy, that fit neatly into our schedule and our budget, and do not demand all that much. The mincha offering, which our tradition views as the most precious of all sacrifices, teaches us the importance of serving Hashem, even when this entails difficult sacrifices, rather than doing mitzvot only when they are easy and convenient. So that's true. So we have to think about that. Like, oh, maybe it's not so easy for me to give a charity right now, but I'm doing it anyway, and Hashem will help me, because things have been slow in business, but I know it's important. You know, things like that, or anything. I mean, you can think of so many things that happen maybe during the day where you say, okay, I need to sacrifice this for Hashem, or something, you know. So, there, you know, you just have to figure out what it is for you that would work. You know, maybe, you know, working on different midos that you have. Maybe you need to be less angry, so even if once you stop yourself or saying something you shouldn't say that's not appropriate or lashon hara, so that's also sacrificing because you're doing something better for yourself in the end. I mean, it's not really for Hashem. Hashem doesn't need anything from us, but we still want to improve ourselves. And I hope and pray that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.